Starlings, it is starlight out in the afternoon, and today's video is going to be a continuation of my, Fae series, because I am going to put all of the Fae stuff and Mer stuff on the same playlist. However, this is going to be more of a Mer-themed video, as you can probably tell by the title. This is Mermaids vs Sirens within my personal practice. What differences I see between them, between their energies, between how they work, and yeah, just a few things that I've learned over the years from working with them. So I've got my notes that I'll be reading from, so if I'm looking down, that's why, because I don't want to get too distracted and just ramble on about personal experiences and then not tell you anything other than that. Yeah, first point, disclaimer. This is my unique personal gnosis, my UPG. I have found this through years of meditation and personal research. I have also not researched certain things in a while, so I may need a refresh, and I will try and leave as much of the stuff that I'm not sure about out, or I will let you know if I'm not sure about it. Other than that, a lot of the information I have garnered about mermaids and sirens, it was inspired by some pop culture stuff, but I went in and I did some heavy meditations on actually connecting with those kinds of beings and seeing what was right, what was wrong, what information they wanted to share with me, all that kind of stuff. Oh, headache. It's right there as well. It's so annoying. But yes, this is personal research. This is years of meditation. This is my personal connection with these beings. You may have a different informational background and different personal connections. That's completely okay. Educate me and the rest of my star squad down below, but please be nice, because we're all learning together, we're all growing together, we're all just trying to know more about mermaids and sirens and all that kind of stuff. So anything you don't know, I will try and tell you, or maybe you can learn from others in the comments down below. Anything you know that I don't, put it down below. So my understanding of mer, or mermaids, I tend to go with the phrase mer as a general title, because not all of them are mermaids, not all of them are mermen. Most of them, in my experience, are actually kind of like shapeshifters. They don't really have a gender, so I call them mer, personally, because I feel like it fits better. I'm also non-binary, so like female presenting non-binary. So I feel like this is kind of very much how I connect with them on a personal level. So my understanding of the mer is that they are water beings. They are a Fae type energy, but I would classify them differently to Fae. So in my personal connections with them, I would say that they actually have a different kind of energy. They are water beings, but they're not always bound to water. Like I said, they're shapeshifters. And there is a distinction to me, maybe just the depth that I've been connecting with them. There is a distinction to me between mer beings and Fae beings, even if they have that elemental water connection that in common doesn't necessarily mean they're always Fae or they're always mer. I have communicated with mer that actually took offense to being called Fae, so again, be careful. I've also connected with kind of water elemental Fae that took offense to being called mer. Every single being that you connect with is going to be different with this, but just kind of be careful with the language that you're using, because both Fae and mer, one of the overlaps between them is that they are very, very specific with words and language and how they're used. Point number 4, different types and classifications of mer, just as they don't all look the same. So there are different types of mer, there are different classifications. Every being is going to really, there are some overlaps, but they are just as unique as people are. So for example, not all blondes look the same, not all blondes have the same shade of blonde hair, but they're all kind of considered blonde. So for example, not all coral mer are the same. They're not all going to have the same shades of scales, they're not going to have the same type of tails, they're not all going to have necessarily tails at all, but they're all coral mer energy, because they are mer energy that is closely linked to coral. So that kind of thing, I suppose. They're not all going to look the same, and technically there are all the different classifications. So like I said, coral mer, you've also got mer of the trenches, you've got deep water, for example. There are certain mer that work with certain, I don't know, plants. So there's like kelp mer, seaweed for the English people, or there's the animal mer that work with different types of animals, and are closely allied with those. But there is also an actual society within the mer kingdoms. So they will have their priests, their priestesses, their kings, their queens, all of that kind of stuff. Not all mer are just associated with water. That is their common element. They are very much like water creatures, but they are also have other correspondences, just as not all water beings are mer or have mer energy. So my example for this would be, for example, I don't know, sand mer, for example, that would technically be considered earth and water, because sand is just like glass particles, basically. But then sand would also be considered part of land, because there is like sand-based soil and things like that. So there is the earth and water elements within them. They are a water being, but they're not just water. Same as, for example, a kelpie. It is a water being, but I would not consider that a mer being. Personally. You might, I don't. But if you do, tell me why. I'm very curious. So just because it's a water being does not mean it's mer. Just because it's mer, it does have water energy as a base component, but it might be associated with other things as well. Next point is sirens are on the darker side of the mer energy within my practice, in my personal experience. They are technically mer, but they are different. They have different energy and classifications and a society of their own. They are similar to the idea of the unseelie court of Fae. So again, I kind of break the Fae courts as like seelie, courtless, and then unseelie. It would kind of be the same sort of thing of like mer, courtless, and sirens. Because there are beings that don't really associate with either of them, but they have similar sort of ideals as the like seelie courts and unseelie courts. But I wouldn't consider like mer beings being part of a seelie court. They are part of the mer court, whereas I wouldn't consider water beings that are unseelie as part of the siren court, because like they're two completely different things to me. If this is not how your craft works, this is absolutely fine. This is just my experience with these beings. Tell me how yours works, if you have any similarities or differences, because I love learning new things about this kind of stuff. And I want to see how other people see this. Next point is each being is unique, as will be your personal experience with them. There are certain traits that may overlap and therefore be considered the stereotype. So, for example, the sirens, again, are kind of like the unseelie side of it, but you can have unseelie fae or siren mer that are like, they won't deviate from their true nature, but if they are protective of you, they will protect you. Like if you connect with them and you give them offerings and stuff like that and you bond with them, they are still going to protect you, but they are just as likely to trick you as protect you, kind of thing. Whereas if you were to bond with a seelie fae or a mer court mer, then it will be kind of like they're less likely to be as trickstery, but they still have that fun, playful side to them. They're just less likely to. They're more likely to like steal your keys rather than fuck up your life, you know. Like that kind of distinction. That's how I see them. But there are certain overlaps within certain things. So, for example, if you were to go with a siren mer of the warrior clan, I don't know, they are just as likely to defend you to the death as kill you themselves. If they kind of like, they won't actually kill you, they're just, this is an example, this is a metaphorical, but yeah, they are just as likely to kind of like curse you in your family line as they are to protect you in your family line if you work with them a certain way and if they take a liking to you, type of thing. I'm really hoping this is making sense. If it is, then let me know. If it isn't, let me know any questions down below. Last point is, I have been working with the mer since I was a kid, I have many years of experiences and connected with many different types of mer and of fae and of sirens and all of that kind of stuff. I did a lot of work with them in my early craft and when I was younger, before I even knew what my craft was. They can all be nice or malevolent, but they will not stray from their true nature, as with all beings. So if you are to connect with a siren, there's still siren energy. They are not going to be all fluffy and happy and cuddly. They're still going to be a siren, but they can be protective of you and they can still be helpful in certain ways, but that doesn't mean they're going to stray from their true nature just because they're connected to you. So if that is how you see them, that's probably not the being that you think it is, so do be careful. Yeah, just from my experience. So with all of that said, my question for you is, what has been your experience with these beings in your practice? Do you see the distinction the way that I do? And if not, let me know your distinctions down below and any experiences that you've had, because I'm very, very curious and I would like to know and learn more, because I love learning about all of these things. Yes. I don't think I have anything else to say about that one on Mer versus Sirens. So we're gonna say, be unapologetically you, no shame, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!